Hello everybody and welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude. Today, at long last, after clearing off the bench of all of my projects that were partially built or partially painted or whatever, I am finally starting a new kit. Clean slate, clear conscience. And that kit, as I mentioned in my update video, my last update video, is the Tamiya Merkava 1, and this is the kit that I believe it came out in, I think it came out in '88. I don't remember, and I had looked it up on ScaleMates, but I don't remember. But if you want to look it up on ScaleMates and see what year it is kit number 3627A. And this is old enough that it says Tamiya Model Rectifier Corporation, so that's kind of weird. So let us take a look at the box contents, and I'll kind of give you an idea as we're looking through it what my plan is for this kit. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so this is it. Now, a little quick backstory on this, and I think I mentioned it before, but I actually got this kit from my brother. Seemed like it was around the last holidays. He brought over a few kits. One of them was a partially built Yag Tiger, and then this Merkava, and he had bought both of those back in the late 80s. He had built one before, and he was going to build another one, but he never got around to it, and he was cleaning out his shed and stuff, and found it and thought, hey, my bro would probably want to build this. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm actually going to build it for him. I'll build it and give it to him. He can put it in his cabinet or whatever if he wants. Normally I don't do modern armor. I'm a World War II armor type of person. Drift a little bit into Korea once in a while, but this is an interesting vehicle, and it goes together. It's supposed to go together really well. It's supposed to be a good kit, and my brother gave it to me, so it'll be fun to build. As you can see, the box is quite old. It's all kind of caved in, but everything's good on the inside. So let's take a quick look inside and see what we got. Very yellowed instructions, and it is in English and German. Now, if I'm not mistaken, way back when, and I know this was true with the first Tamiya kit I got back in the 70s, you could buy these kits with English instructions or Japanese instructions. Now, at the model shop that I bought my first Tamiya kit, which was a Panther D, I believe, you could get it either way from the hobby shop, and it was a little bit cheaper to get it with the Japanese instructions, so that's what I did to save a little bit. And if you ever run into that, go for it. Even if you don't read Japanese, because the illustrations and everything are so clear, you don't need a lot of hand holding to build one of these Tamiya kits. And on this one, as you can see, it's not even very many pages. Actual build stages, you've got 10 stages, and the last stage is basically installing the track side skirts and sticking the turret on there. So actual hardcore building, you've got 9 steps on 5 pages. And as you can see, quite yellowed, quite old. This is copyright 1984, so we'll go with that. Now, it calls for, and I think I'm going to build this right straight out of the box. I'm not going to be doing any extra stuff. I'm not going to be, it's going to be lightly weathered. It's just going to be mainly dusty, like it's in a desert type situation, which is, very little weathering on it. Nothing real serious or dirty. And it calls for desert yellow, which is XF59 in Tamiya, and that's the paints I'll be using. And I'm going to be using that color. Now, whether or not that is an actual IDF, Israeli Defense Force color, I don't know. But that's what I'm going to use, because I'm just doing it right straight out of the box. The reason I'm doing this is because after my last few builds, some of them were quite complicated, some of them were quite tricky, and I just want something that just basically just relax and build it straight and just kind of recharge the creative battery, so to speak. So I'm not going to get in a whole lot of detail. The video is probably going to consist mainly of, construction. I'll deal with that, and then I'll do a video on the painting process. So it's probably only going to be, 2 or 3 videos. I'm not going to get real crazy with, I was thinking about doing it as a back to basics plastic models for beginners build, but that involves a lot of video and so I thought, you know what, nope, I'm sticking to my original plan, just build it out of the box, enjoy it, and relax. So that's the plan on this kit. So anyway, there's the instructions. I used to love getting these whenever I'd open up a Tamiya kit. I loved their catalogs back then because, to me this was just the best stuff ever. And it's kind of cool that all this is in here. It's kind of a little, time capsule almost. You could join the MRC Tamiya Model Club of America. Man, that was cool. You could tell them what stuff you were interested in. They'd send you all kinds of cool stuff. And your annual dues were $5, payable by check or money order. You couldn't use PayPal. Couldn't use credit card. It's crazy. But I never joined that club. Obviously, my brother didn't either. There's the envelope they give you, so you could send that stuff back in. So anyway, that's the paperwork. Now I checked this out already because after sitting out in a hot shed for years, I thought there might be some warpage, but there is none at all. And as you can see, this is one of the old kits that you could put batteries and a motor in. Holes in the bottom to switch it on. So who knows if it's accurate as far as dimensions and all that, but again, don't care. Just gonna have fun with this one. The upper hole and turret. Now there's a lot of detail going on in this turret, and it looks really good, and it's a far cry from a lot of the stuff today, like for example, say Dragon. All these little pieces would be all kinds of photo etch and plastic, which is great. I enjoy doing that, but this is all pre-installed detail for you, so it's not too overly complicated. So if anybody's looking for a good kit to start out with or something, this might be something to look at. And I'll definitely be talking about any fit issues or anything, which I really don't foresee, but I'll be talking about that kind of stuff as I go, and I'll randomly film some clips of the build process. Wheels and suspension, I'm not going to go through all of it in detail because, once you've seen a Tamiya kit, you've seen them all pretty much. It has a figure, a little soft on detail, but it'll be workable. I'll use him. I'll paint him up, stick him in the hatch, and all will be right with the world. And then it has the ever popular, as some people call, rubber band tracks. It's actually a vinyl type material, but the detail is good on them. It's nice detail. A little bit of seamage going on in the edge there, but you can't really tell because it's on the links. Interior detail as well. A lot of these older Tamiya kits, especially in the 70s, the motorized kits, they were just flat inside. They didn't have any detail. But yeah, I'm gonna have to set these out, and hopefully they'll kind of flatten out. I'll set them in a windowsill or something, see if some heat will kind of help that, because I don't want to have to buy any extra tracks, aftermarket tracks. But these are the good old-fashioned pre-DS junk where you put them together. There are pins and holes, and you just punch them through there, and then you use a heated screwdriver or something and smash those babies down. And they're actually quite durable, which they had to be for these motorized tanks. So that's the tracks, and for some crazy reason they put 2 sets of decals and the screen in. Now I don't know if they did that because it needs more than just this one little bit of screen or what, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to use the decals. I'll try them and see, and if they look like they're not going to fall apart, I'll go ahead and just use the kit decals and put those on. So that's it. That's what's in the box. So I'm going to get everything situated here and get cracking on the build portion. Alright, let's take a look at where I am so far. Right now I have just gotten the I'm complete up to step 6, which is the upper hull parts, the lower hull parts, and the turret basket with the supplied screen, the barrel, and with the canvas cover over the mantlet area, if that's what they call it on these type of vehicles, and the turret. And the turret, you know, it's a little not very precise in the top and bottom fit, so I've got it clamped up while it dries. It's not really a big deal, but you know, not quite up to 2018 standards, but still it's going together fine. I'll just have to do some sanding around the edges of the turret here where the top meets the bottom. So far pretty good. Don't really have a lot of parts left. 2 of the sprues. I basically have some spare track links and some fittings for the turret. So I have 2 of those, and then I also have side skirts, a few more various turret parts here. So it's getting close to being done with assembly, and it's only taken about 3 hours to get to this point, and that's cleaning parts and test fitting and everything else. So once this cures up a little bit, I'll start sanding on it and start putting more of the parts on, and unless anything weird comes up, I'll come back once the turret assembly is all complete. And here it is in all of its completed glory, the Merkava 1. Not much to say really. Got it all put together. Everything went fine for the most part. Now, being such an old kit, like sitting around in a hot shed for so long, I'm thinking I had some warpage going on. I think the upper hull was slightly warped in the middle, so I had to cement these in place carefully and a little bit at a time. And then the back plate was warped pretty good. It was sticking out about this far, about this far, whenever I had it all put together. So I had to do that, you know, squeeze in one side with a clamp here, kind of squeezed together, cemented that, and then it was fine. So not that big a deal. The tracks, I think those tracks may have shrunk over time because they're on there really super tight, and they're almost kind of not too badly, but bowed in a little bit in the front. You know, they're kind of curved in like that, but you can't really notice it now. Not as much as before. Maybe they've stretched a little bit, but they were really super tight. So if you get this kit and it's a really old one, that's some things to watch for. Everything else fit pretty well. It didn't, you know, cleanup was pretty good. You know, being an older kid, there was some kind of sharp edges where, you know, a part was mostly in one side of the mold and just flush with the other, so there was kind of like these like little weird sharp edges I had to knock down. But other than that, went together pretty good. The figure, although quite plain, he did go together pretty nicely, and I was able to position him okay, and there wasn't a whole lot of cleanup. So, you know, for an old figure, it's really not that bad. You can see his face has got some pretty good definition on it, even better than some modern figures. So got a little bit more cleanup to do there that I didn't see earlier. There's like a little tiny bit of seam line showing in certain light right in there. It's kind of hard to pick it out, but it's there. So anyway, so he turned out okay. So that's pretty much it, you know, right out of the box and everything else. So the overall build took right at 7.5 hours, and that was working at a pretty slow pace, and that was to build the entire thing. That's including cleaning, cutting the parts off, studying the instructions, the whole thing. Took just a little slightly over 7 hours. So this could definitely be considered one of those quote-unquote weekend kits. Pretty easy to build. Usual Tamiya fashion. Went together as expected. So turned out really good. I'm pretty stoked with it. So I'm going to end the video here. The next video I'll prime it, paint it, do some weathering and that kind of thing, and then kind of show the final product. So if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, put them in the comments below and I'll respond as quickly and efficiently as possible. So once again, thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I will see you all next time.